Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Drew, and I want to welcome you back to Learn How to See Better. And today, what I want to share with you is just some thoughts I've been having as we wrap up the end of 2019. It's the end of a decade. We're moving into 2020, and it's a super exciting time, right? I was recently talking about how, the last time we had an exciting turn of the decade, was 10 years ago. But one that was really exciting was Y2K, which was 20 years ago. And it's funny when you think about the fact that if you're old enough to remember a lot of the hoopla and the frenzy around Y2K, there was just all these unknowns about what was coming in the year ahead. And how would the computers work when they were programmed to not handle, the transition from, the 1900s to the 2000s. And it was all this, anxiety and concern. Is the world going to end? Is everyone's bank accounts going to be zeroed out? And all these other things where there was apprehension and anxiety about the future. And when you think about that, it's like, how silly does that sound, right? I think that, me personally, I look at the future, and the future is something we should be excited about. The future is something that should drive us, because every step that you take forward, you're getting closer to some of the things that you are trying to achieve in your life, right? Maybe it's personal goals, maybe it's new experiences, maybe it's that magic relationship, or that special person you've been waiting to come into your world and change your life. And maybe that's on a romance level. Maybe that's on a personal development level. Maybe it's some other level that you haven't even fathomed just yet. But the idea that, not that long ago, it was like the whole world, it seemed, was scared of the calendar changing to January to start the year 2000. And here we are 20 years later, and I'd be one to put, $5 on it to say that, there's not that same animosity, anxiety, apprehension, and fear and concern about the future anymore. It's just turning 2020, right? And if anything, it's more exciting because we're starting to see how much faster the world moves now, and how much technology changes, and how much more information is out there that we have access to that can help us potentially improve and impact our life, especially if the things that we seek in life have been blocked by a lack of know-how, blocked by a lack of knowing where to go, who to reach out to get what you need. And so when you start to think about, okay, what does this have to do with anything? And Y2K in 2020, that was 20 years ago, it doesn't matter. But I think it does matter, right? Because I'm sitting here, it's December 19th, 2019 at the time of this recording. I'm looking at my life, my world, my circumstances. I'm turning 41 and a half years old today, right? Whoop, whoop, happy half birthday. Remember, you used to celebrate those as a kid. Pretty fun, right? The point of all that is just to say that, in many cases, by the time someone gets to be in their 30s or their 40s, a lot of their excitement has kind of left them, right? You're not a kid anymore. You've got responsibilities. You got little ones at home, maybe. You got aging parents, maybe. They refer to, my little category of life, my phase of life, as the sandwich generation, right? You're trying to take care of everybody. You're taking care of your kids, you're taking care of your folks. And unfortunately, a lot of times you're not taking care of yourself, right? You're not still pouring into you. You feel spread too thin. You feel like you don't have enough resources. And, the fact of the matter is we all have a lot more resources than we recognize. It's just a matter of how resourceful we're actually being. And we have to give that some real thought, because if you look at the year ahead and just like, just another year, I hope to survive. Well, you got to question how that even sounds. If you met somebody in a coffee shop, it's like, hey, you excited about 2020? Oh my gosh, New Year's is going to be great. Aren't you excited about the best year of your life, where you can take all that life experience you've had from the first X number of years and then channel it into this new one? And they're like, I'm just trying to get through another year. It's like, wow, what a downer. What an unfortunate circumstance for someone to be in. And I hope that's not any of you listening here, because I sort of feel like the audience that's tuned into this type of information is on the same wavelength as the title of this podcast episode, right? The title of it is Locked and Loaded, right? Think about how that sounds. I'm locked and loaded. I'm ready to go. I am locked and loaded. It's generally referring to different terminology that has to do with how prepared you are for battle. So I don't want that to come off with a any sort of negative stigma. I'm not promoting any sort of violence, and we really need to be literally locked and loaded, but figuratively speaking, I'm locked and loaded. I'm ready for the new year. I'm ready to go. It's like, get ready, get set, go, right? My mind is already in 2020, right? I've gone through the steps, summarizing what 2019 has been. It's been a great experience, pushing through to the end of the year and getting ready to launch 2020. And if you were just to do a side-by-side comparison of that same coffee shop example and say, hey man, hey lady, how you doing? What's going on in your world? How you feeling? 2020 is almost here. And person A says, just trying to get through another year. And person B says, I'm locked and loaded. Like, who do you want to be around more? Like, wow, you're locked and loaded. Tell me more. Why? What's got you so upbeat? Even if their attitude is like, what's so special about the year? Unless you're going to, embrace drastic life change right out of the gate. Yeah, it's still just January 1st. But it's all what our outlook is. It's how we focus on the future that really starts to dictate what some of those results are going to get. Some of the results we're going to get. Like, I already have success rapidly approaching me because of the mindset I have about the future. My focus on the future is one of anticipation, right? So that's going to make me that much more powerful versus the person who is apprehensive or has a lot of anxiety about the future, right? What they're going to be faced with is paralysis and fear and all this negative thinking that is just crippling to them. So if you're looking to make a change, I don't care if you're a goal setter, a goal getter, or you're just at the stage of making New Year's resolutions, right? Even that's a little bit something better than the person that doesn't have any positive outlook at all, right? I can think of times in my past where I was thinking less abundantly and I didn't have the right things set up in my world to really optimize my mindset. Maybe it was my surroundings, maybe it was this, maybe it was that. We could speculate, but I'm not in that space anymore. Here I am in 2019, locked and loaded, ready to go for 2020, okay? And when you think about that, if you can just shift your focus on the future, right? You're actually gonna be able to fuel your fire and set the world ablaze as you go out to conquer whatever it is you're looking to accomplish. So I thought it would be good to just spend a couple of minutes sharing my energy, my attitude, my mindset. Hopefully it's a little bit contagious. I get it. Motivation doesn't last. You need it every day, just like you need a shower every day. But more importantly, if I'm able to unlock a secret that you have found elusive, and just this simple fact that your attitude about your outcome can be one of the secret ingredients to get it, I feel like I've done more than innovate. I feel like I've done more than motivate. I feel like I've done something to actually inspire. And that's the stuff that makes me feel great. That's the stuff that makes me want to keep reading the books, to keep practicing the things that I learned, to keep seeking counsel and reaching out and getting, guidance on my own life and my own aspirations so that I can make sure I'm seeing the world through the proper set of lenses. Because what I've come to learn in my 41.5 years of knowledge and experience walking this round spinning planet is it's as simple as our perceptional filters. Our experiences, the way we experience the world, will start to put filters on the way we see the world. You guys have all heard the phrase, they're looking at the world through rose-colored glasses, right? And generally, if you haven't heard that phrase, it's meant to refer to someone that's like maybe a little bit naive, or they're just looking at everything as just purely rosy, and that there's no, reality of some of the harshness and ugliness that does exist in the world. But you know what? The person looking through the rose-colored glasses is likely filtering out a lot of the gunk and the junk that can pollute your mindset, right? There's a kid's book, Pete the Cat, right? And the cool blue groovy magic sunglasses. And, I won't steal the thunder of the book, but it's one of our favorites that we've read to our kids for years and years. And the moral of the story has to do with those perceptional filters. And you can see the world in a whole new way. You just you need those magic blue sunglasses, and you actually, maybe you don't, right? You just need to shift your focus on how you view the future. And so that's so important as you get this fresh start. Every day, really, we get a fresh start. Every year we get a fresh start. But now conceptually, we can make this more grandiose than it actually is and give that thing power. Wow, 2020, the brand new, fresh start to the new decade, right? Imagine what people are going to be doing in the year 2999. The year 3000 is here. Oh my goodness, this is the greatest opportunity for change and success and all these other things, right? But at the end of the day, it's just January 1st. It's just the next day, it's just going to be Wednesday, right? In a couple of weeks. But the way that we view that is going to empower us to move faster, to move farther, to fly higher and do other greater things. So the idea is get locked and loaded now. If you need some downtime, and I do sometimes crack the jokes about the holiday season. We don't need it to be a reason for a whole season, because if everyone's got their feet up and you're taking the last 2 months off of the year, it's tough to utilize, 10 out of 12, 83% of the year to get 100% of your goals done, right? So you need to have that momentum built up. And even though you could do a whole bunch of push-ups and run around the block and do jumping jacks and drink the coffee and be full of caffeine and ketones like I am, but the fact of the matter still remains. It's that outlook and the preparation that we do mentally that will help set the stage for the momentum that we're going to have in the new year. So whether you're reflecting or projecting or both, right? Some of the key components of learning how to see better, you're going to be naturally taking steps to position yourself to fully capitalize on what's waiting for you, right? Everyone else in the world is if they're tuned into the right mindset, they're looking forward to 2020. We're going to see all sorts of memes and graphics and things, in your social media or whatever. People are going to be like 10 times more excited about 2020 than 2019 just because it's cooler sounding, it's conceptually a fresher start. And you can leverage some of that hype. You can leverage some of that excitement. You can leverage some of the fact that the mentality overall of the general populace is that 2020 could be the best opportunity you've had yet to make significant positive impact and change in your world that brings you the steady, predictable, good results that you really want, right? So get yourself locked and loaded. Right? Run the tapes. Look at what really happened in 2019 and high level. What are the events that made you feel good? What are the events that made you just be glad you got through that thing, right? Because if you can weigh that out and say, all right, I got more feel good than feel bad. And even if it's vice versa, say, gosh, I didn't feel good as much as I felt bad, but when I felt good, it felt really good. So what can I do to recreate that? How can I hack my own life to bring more positive experiences to my world to help set me up for success, right? Think that through. So just as we have the downtime during the holiday season and the time with family, and the time off of work for most folks, don't just spend all of that in a holidays, right? During the holidays, don't let your mind just completely check out. Use the time productively, right? When everyone is resting is the time that you can get ahead. I remember when, I used to be in wrestling, we're going into the state tournament come January, February. So the guys that were running the laps and eating right during the holidays while everybody else was sloughing off, they made the strides, they made the gains, they closed the gap, right? There was a lot of champs that got beat because their holiday routine was lackluster. And the underdog kept doing the thing, pumping the well, burning the midnight oil, pushing, driving, continuing to contribute towards their eventual success, right? So that could be you this holiday season. Do you want to be a champion in 2020? How are you going to fuel your fire for 2020? Go figure out some of the things that might have held you back and go find a way to crush those obstacles. Maybe you need some hand holding. Maybe you need a little help. Maybe you need to go buy a book. Maybe you need to get around a better circle of people, right? Maybe you need to potentially love some people at a distance because all you've really got in common is your past and not your future, right? And we don't live in the past, right? We live in the present and we look towards the future. So get some of those things in alignment. And that's what's going to help you be locked and loaded and ready to go to launch your new decade. So with that, I want to go ahead and wrap this up. I'm on a good one today. I'm in the zone and I just want to be able to share some of this positivity that I've got boiling in me that I think will be able to benefit all of you. So please accept this gracious contribution to the value in your world as that free gesture of kindness and love going out to all of you. And hopefully you'll even be able to share it with a friend that may impact them. But go out there and look at the new year as your best opportunity to make significant, drastic, positive change in your life. Get locked and loaded and be ready to rock it. And I can't wait to see you guys at the top. So thanks again for your time today and for tuning in. And I will catch you on the next episode. Thanks.